Welcome back to another episode of the Kansas City Commercial Real Estate Market Pulse. I'm your host, Logan Freeman, coming to you here live with a really awesome, exciting new opportunity. We're going to talk about what office users are looking for in today's market, and we're going to discuss a historic river market investment and leasing opportunity. And so, what we're looking at today is one of the most recognizable buildings in the river market. It is the historic Opera House, Gillis Opera House building, which is 37,000 square foot of historic mixed use space in a neighborhood that is genuinely in the middle of a massive transformation. And this isn't just a value add story built on hope. The infrastructure investment is already in the ground, the tenants are already here, and the third floor is ready to deliver. First out, shout out to Michael Meyer, always showing up, and Lauren saying office demand is increasingly about accessibility and location fundamentals that make the commitment worthwhile. Absolutely. We will be discussing that as well. And Lauren is saying office decisions in 2026 are increasingly about how location, accessibility, and long-term flexibility support the way that businesses actually operate. Couldn't agree more. We're going to touch on that in very good detail here today. But before we do, I kind of want to give the listeners in the audience an update on the Kansas City office market. So the headline is that Kansas City's office market is tightening, not softening. Vacancy is at 14.2%. That is of Q2 of 2026, which is down from 15.4% in Q1 and 16.1% in Q2 of 2025. So that is 3 consecutive quarters of compression. We've had 314,000 square feet of net absorption, of positive absorption, and that is in Q2 of 2026 alone. So tenants are taking space, not giving it back. We're seeing asking rents anywhere between 23 and 23.69 per square foot, which is up 1.4% year over year and up 5.8% over 3 years. And so that rent story is really moving in the right direction. What I will say is that the bifurcation is real. So prime vacancy runs more than 480 basis points below non-prime vacancy nationally. So in Kansas City, the buildings that are winning leases are the ones with amenities, character, and transit access. The ones sitting vacant are commodity suburban product with none of those things. All right. So 500 Walnut is right in line with what we are seeing as what tenants are looking for and businesses are looking for. And I think that the idea that flight to quality, it's really not a buzzword anymore. It's the entire market dynamic. Look, I mean, tenants are making deliberate choices about where they locate, and the criteria have fundamentally shifted from pre-pandemic norms. And so here's what's driving every serious office leasing decision in 2026: transit and commute solvability. So proximity to transit, walkable amenities, and easy commute access from across the metro has become more important than a specific address. Okay, employees will not fight a parking problem every single morning. Full stop. The building's winning tenants in 2026 solve the commute either through transit access, structured parking, or both. Right? 500 Walnut delivers both. We have a Kansas City Streetcar Riverfront extension, which opened just recently here in May. That's a $62 million public investment, free to ride. It stops at the front door, as you can see here on the picture. For the employees who drive, we have dedicated parking that's available. Plus, very vast public accessible parking spaces within 1 block of the streetcar line. So that's not really just a talking point. This is the infrastructure that already exists and is already being used. All right. So dedicated parking at an urban address is genuinely rare and genuinely valuable. So for a tenant considering 6,000, 10,000 square feet, that's 30 to 50 employees in the building on any given day. So solving parking for leadership and key staff while offering transit for everyone else is exactly the hybrid work environment commute that the model is seen to be proven to be valuable, right? And so 500 Walnut, we have dedicated parking available for lease And if you own the building, obviously you own that, which eliminates the number one objection before it's raised. All right, there's many different structured garages around. We have City Market that has parking as well. And then let's move on to the second thing, which is the amenities and walkability, right? This is oftentimes a talent recruitment argument. In 2026, office location is a recruiting tool, period. Employees, the ones that companies are competing for, they want to feel like they're somewhere, not just somewhere to work, right? City Market has local restaurants. We have boutique retail, the riverfront, Saturday farmers market. These are amenities that you cannot build. They're ones that already exist and have existed for decades in the river market. So the question that HR directors are asking is, why would my team want to come to this office? And I think this property here at 500 Walnut has a real answer. All right. Number four, character and identity, right? We have a historic brick, right? Beats general glass. The offices, I'll show you some pictures here soon. Inside of this building are unbelievable. They have exposed brick, high ceilings, character, natural light, right? Tenants are paying premiums for that. It's hard to replicate that in new construction. All right. This building has it. Okay. Right sizing. So smaller footprints. The average tenant in 2026 not taking more space than they need. They're taking the right space at the right location with the right amenity. The third floor has 10,600 square feet that is available currently and is demisable into 2 suites, which gives any owner user flexibility that a single use, single floor, 10,000 square foot floor plate doesn't have in another building. All right. You have more small conference rooms, right? So you have video ready meeting spaces. We have hospitality finishes. The market's telling landlords exactly what tenants want. Quality TI build out in this space delivers exactly that. Now, if you're an investor for office, right, I'm gonna give you a couple things to think about on this deal, right? The thesis is in one sentence, right? You have 71,000 or 71% occupied. So you have great existing tenant base, right? And you have the opportunity to lease this up with a 5-10 year lease to generate more revenue for this property. Okay. And the market is compressing on your side, right? The Kansas City office dropped 120 basis points in the last 12 months. That's not just noise. That is a trend. Okay. 314,000 square feet of positive absorption in Q2 2026 alone means that tenants are actively committing to space. Rents are up 5.8% over 3 years, and they're still moving. So every quarter that you hold a leased asset in this market, your NOI is growing through contractual escalations and market rent increases at renewal. So you're not buying into a declining market. Okay. You're buying into an inflection point. The in-place income protects you while you execute. All right. So very good things to be thinking about in regards to this location. I mean, in a market where office is bifurcating and hard between quality and commodity, 500 Walnut is unambiguously on the right side of that line. We have historic character, transit access, dedicated parking. We have, really a good basis on this property. And that combination doesn't stay on the market long in a compressing vacancy environment. Okay. So let's get into this actual property itself. Super excited about this opportunity. Our team has done a great job putting out a decent amount of videos and overviews. You can find this for lease and for sale on Crexy, on LoopNet. You can reach out to myself and my team, and we'll be happy to get you an opportunity to look at this asset. All right. Okay. So the third floor, right? Look, it's a rare opportunity to own and occupy one of the most historic buildings in the river market. It's a mixed use asset. The third floor is 10,600 square feet. It's move-in ready. You may need to do some painting and some carpet. You can devise that if needed. And it's priced at $23 per square foot, net of utilities and janitorial. So for an office user, this is genuinely rare in the river market. You're not finding 10,000 square feet of contiguous historic space anywhere else in that neighborhood at this basis. And critically, if you own the building around it, your occupancy cost is working for you, not against you. Okay. So really great opportunity. You can see some wonderful pictures here. I also highlighted the parking that is available on the side of the building there. This is some of the tenant spaces that are already built out. Okay. So 3 things here stand out on 500 Walnut: location, streetcar, and parking. right? And those three things that office users tell us matter most more than anything else right now. It's just parking, transit, walkability. The building checks all three in a way that almost nothing else in downtown Kansas City does simultaneously. All right. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to walk you through each one of those. So let's go to the location of this property. All right. The River Market is not an emerging neighborhood, right? It's an established one that's getting a second act. You've got City Market literally steps away. You can see the entrance here in the picture that we've got, which means your employees have lunch options. They have coffee, farmers market on the weekends, genuine neighborhood feel that you simply cannot manufacture in a suburban office park. And that matters for talent recruitment, for retention, and every office tenant that we talk to in 2026 knows it. You're also sitting at the northern anchor of downtown Kansas City, Columbus Park to the east, the Crossroads to the south, the Power and Light District, a quick ride down the line. So your employees are not trapped. They have an entire city accessible from this front door. Moving on, here's what's happening within a 2-block radius of this building downtown. You have the River Market Hotel, which is opening in fall of 2026. That's a boutique hotel bringing foot traffic, amenity, and energy to this immediate block. Bellwether at 5th and Main is a residential development bringing more rooftops to the neighborhood. Current Landing is a mixed-use riverfront project that connects this district to the Berkeley riverfront. And this is not speculative. These projects are funded and underway. So your office is sitting in the middle of it. Okay, very, very important as you think about this. Now let's move on to transit. Okay, the Kansas City Streetcar Riverfront extension is open, and this building is directly on that line. That's a $62 million public investment that literally stops at your front door, free to ride. It runs from the riverfront through the River Market, down Main Street, all the way down to the Crown Center and to the plaza. So your employees can park once and move freely throughout the city all day. There's approximately thousands of publicly accessible parking spaces within 1 block of the streetcar route. So the city of Kansas City maintains structured parking at 614 Walnut. And so you have opportunities for the parking at this site. All right. So very good parking accessibility. You want to showcase just a couple pictures. There's a streetcar stopping literally out front. You can see the building with downtown Kansas City in the background. And of course, everybody's favorite Opera House coffee right there on the screen. Okay. Now, you have established tenancy here, right? So the existing tenants validate the building. You've got a law firm, an architecture firm, a restaurant, a barber, technology company. That's all genuinely diverse tenant base that creates an energy in the building during business hours. Opera House anchors through 2031, right? These aren't month-to-month tenants. They're renewed, they're escalating, and they're invested in this location. So for an owner user, that means your occupancy cost is partially offset from day one in-place income, okay? So let's get to the actual space itself that is available. There's our established tenancy here. Some additional pictures that you can see of the property, currently built out spaces. Now the third floor, it's contiguous 10,600 square feet. You can see that in the shaded sections here. It's divisible, 23 net of janitorial and utilities. So you're controlling your own space costs. Historic brick and beam, the character you cannot find new. You have windows overlooking the River Market streetscape, and you own the address, 500 Walnut, River Market, right? That is a recruiting tool, a brand statement, and a real estate asset simultaneously. The transit story is what makes this work for your staff. You don't need every employee to drive and park downtown. The streetcar is free. It runs on schedule, and it connects to where people live and work across the city. And the employees who want to drive have dedicated parking. The ones who want to take transit have a stop at the front door. You're not choosing, you're offering both. So you can see, if you'd like to tour this property, feel free to reach out to myself and our team. We'd be happy to show this space. Here's a couple pictures of the vacant space on the 3rd floor in really great shape. You have these amazing windows that overlook the city market. You can see high ceilings, plenty of space for your next company and for your company's transition. So just moving on, 37,183 square feet, 26,000 of that is currently occupied. Occupancy rates right around 71.5%. Have a lot more information that you can find on this property. Just reach out to myself. We'll get you the listing link and everything that you need to evaluate this opportunity. Look, we're excited about this property. I think that there's really three things to hit hard on this property. It's the parking, the transit, and the location. All right. In 2026, the office buildings that are winning tenants are the ones that solve the commute, they offer the amenity, and give employees a reason to show up. This building does all three. You can own it, you can lease it, have your business there. Reach out to myself. You can find more information at www.mwcreadvisors.com, or you can reach out to me directly. Happy to send you any information and have a call, do a tour with you on this incredible opportunity. Love to keep these property spotlights as short as possible, just giving you guys an idea of what we have and what we're looking at. Feel free to just head over to our website, which is www.mwcreadvisors.com. Find me on LinkedIn and give me a call. Really cool opportunity. Excited to talk with investors, owner users alike. We've had a lot of great conversations up to this point. It's really a historic opportunity for somebody. Has not been up for sale, I believe, for 25, 26 years. So you have the opportunity to own a historic asset with market fundamentals that are really in your favor. This is Logan Freeman, managing broker and owner of Midwest Commercial Real Estate Advisors, coming on live to spotlight another amazing opportunity that we are representing here in Kansas City. Reach out to our team for more information and for the overview and the full offering memorandum. Thanks again for tuning in for another episode of the Kansas City Commercial Real Estate Market Pulse. I'll be back here live again with you guys next week.